Welcome back. In this video, we are going to explore how many options should be given to a manager and at what strike price. How should the HR decide on the number of ESOPs that should be given? There are many different combinations of number of ESOPs and exercise prices that will produce the same expected value for the employee. However, the incentive effects of these various combinations are very different. To see that there are many ways to produce an option of a given expected value, consider a firm whose stock is currently selling at rupees 100. Granting a manager an option to buy at an exercise price of 0 is equivalent to giving the manager a share of stock worth rupees 100, because the manager can simply take the stock, his buying price is 0, and he can sell the stock in the market at 100 rupees. Thus, one way to produce rupees 100 of expected value is to grant one call option with a strike price of 0. At 0 strike price, the call option would be exercised by the manager, and he can either decide to retain it or sell it in the market at a price of 100. So the expected value to the manager when the call option has a strike price of 0 is rupees 100. Now let us think of another scenario. In this option, the exercise price of the same equity is now rupees 100, and let's say today's price is rupees 100. Suppose that tomorrow the price of the firm's stock will either be 90 rupees or 110 rupees. Of course, at the time the options are granted, no one knows which of these two prices will prevail. Suppose further that the chance that the stock price is going to be 90 rupees is half, that is 50%, and the chance that it will be 110 rupees is also half, that is 50%. If we grant a call option with an exercise price of 100, the manager waits one day and then finds out whether the stock is worth 90 rupees or 110 rupees. If it is worth 110, the manager exercises the option, buying it at a price of 100, which is our exercise price, and reselling it at a price of 110, netting a rupees 10 gain. The chance of this happening is 50%, which means a probability of 0.5. Therefore, the expected value of one option with a strike price of 100 rupees is 5 rupees, because it yields rupees 10 half of the time, and half of the time it yields 0. So half of the time it is in the money, half of the time it is out of the money. And as we can see here, the expected value is 10 into 0.5 plus 0 into 0.5, which is equal to rupees 5. Here, as against the first case that we saw, the expected value in the first case for the manager was 100 rupees. In this case, the expected value is 5 rupees. So in order to be equivalent to the first case, where the expected value was 100 because the exercise price was 0, the manager needs to be given 20 such options. In the first case, only one option would have sufficed. In this case, to arrive at the same expected value, 20 such options with an exercise price of rupees 100 need to be given to the manager. Let us consider a third case, The firm can grant options with an exercise price of rupees 108. Now, half of the time, the stock would be worth 110 rupees and the option would yield a profit of 2 rupees, which means the holder of the option can exercise and buy the stock at 108 from the company and sell it in the market at 110 rupees, and there'll be a simple profit of 2 rupees. The other half of the time, the option expires out of the money and yields zero to the holder of the option. The expected value of an option with a strike price of rupees 108 is rupees 1. Now in this case, 100 options at a strike price of 108 would yield an expected return of rupees 100 for the manager. Let us consider a case where the exercise price is 111. It is worth zero because it would never pay to exercise such an option. There is no number of call options with a strike price of 111 that could produce 100 rupees worth of expected value. Now case 5. What is the value of a call option with a strike price of rupees 80? It will always be exercised. If the actual price of the stock turns out to be 90 rupees, the option is exercised and yields a return of 10 rupees. If the actual price of the stock turns out to be 110 rupees, then the option yields a return of 30 rupees. The expected return on the option is 20 rupees, which is 30 into 0.5 plus 10 into 0.5. So 15 plus 5 is rupees 20. One option's expected value is rupees 20. So 5 options will make it equivalent to an expected value of rupees 100. If we look at the pattern of the cases that we have just discussed, we observe a general principle. The general principle is the higher the exercise price, the larger the number of options that must be granted to produce a given expected value. There are an infinite number of combinations of exercise prices and the number of options, as we saw, that could have produced 100 rupees of expected value. This brings us to the question that faces any organization. How does the organization decide whether to grant stock? Because remember, granting stock is like an option with an exercise price of zero, or to grant an option with some positive exercise price. If it decides to go for an option, then what should be the exercise price that the organization should choose? We need to answer this question. The question raised in the previous slide. We need to look at the action of the manager and its impact on the value of the firm. Let's say that as of today, there are 1 million shares outstanding of this particular company. And as we discussed earlier, let's say the exercise price of the ESOP is rupees 100. And there's a possibility that share can now be rupees 90 or rupees 110 with a probability of 50% each. And we saw how the expected value of the ESOP is going to be rupees 5 under such a scenario, and the manager can have 20 stock options to be equivalent to the stock. We understand that the value of an option increases as the value of the firm rises. Suppose that the manager takes certain actions by which the firm becomes more valuable. Let's say that the action results into a condition where value of every share of stock rises by exactly rupee 1. This can happen because let's say there are 1 million shares outstanding and the firm's value increases by 1 million rupees. In that case, every stock increases in value by rupee 1. Now, under such a situation, if an ESOP has been given with an exercise price of rupees 100, then tomorrow the share can be 91 with a 50% probability, or rupees 111 with another 50% probability. We calculate the expected value under such a situation, which would be 91 into 0.5 plus 111. So the option in this case, when the share price is 91, will give us 0, and when the share price is 111, it will give us 11. So the expected value of the option is going to be 11 into 0.5. 0.5 represents the probability, and 0, that is plus 0 into 0.5. So the expected value of the option now is going to be 5 rupee 50 paisa. And if you are holding 20 such options, then your expected value is going to be 110. So a positive action of the manager results in an expected value, an enhanced value of rupees 10 under such a situation. Now let's analyze this situation too. What if instead of holding 20 options with a strike price of 100 rupees, the manager holds 100 options with a strike price of 108 rupees? If the stock price turns out to be 91 rupees, the option is out of the money. But if the stock price turns out to be 111, the manager receives 3 rupees on each option. The expected value then of each option is 1 rupees 50 paisa, rather than the 1 rupee expected value that it had before it took such a beneficial action for the firm. This implies a net benefit of 0.5 for every option held. And if he is holding 100 options with a strike price of 108, the manager receives a total value of rupees 50 for contributing to the firm's increased profits of 1 million rupees, 5 times the value received when the strike price was put at rupees 100. We see that the expected cost to the firm of granting 100 options with a strike is identical to the expected cost of granting 20 options with a strike price of 100. In fact, the expected cost is same in all the cases that is mentioned here. However, the larger the number of options with the higher strike price generates much more value to the manager for taking a beneficial action than does the smaller number of options with a lower strike price. Therefore, the incentives to put forth additional effort are greater when the exercise price is high and many options are granted than when the exercise price is low and few options are granted. Another major advantage of setting the strike price high and awarding a large number of options is that it works against the free rider effect. In the previous example, we saw that the manager could increase the value of a firm by 1 million rupees if efforts were sufficiently high. A manager who owned just one share of stock, that is an option with an exercise price of 0, would receive only 1 rupee of the 1 million of value which he or she produced. If instead the manager were granted 100 options with an exercise price of 108, he or she would receive an expected 50 rupees of the 1 million produced. So the second case automatically works against the manager acting as a free rider. I'll see you in the next video.